Welcome to Red Hot Chile. This fine day in September. That's early spring here in the southern hemisphere. Glad you've joined us. Today's show is going to focus on some current events that are going on in Chile. A lot of stuff regarding the aftermath of this so-called terror bombings that have been going on. Give you some perspective. A lot more calm in the country now, certainly, and I think we've since the perpetrators have been caught, things are a lot better and will continue to improve. I'll be talking about that. As well as a couple earthquakes, one just before the show started, very small. I'm not even sure where it registered on the Richter scale, probably something like 4. Then I want to talk about some other events with the bus line system and public transportation that we have. This show is also going to be recorded on YouTube, so people will be able to have a chance to watch and actually see me while we're doing the show. Some robberies going on, oddly enough. It's on the string of them last week or so, and be mentioning that, as well as talking about some of our services again with the Escape America Now. Remember, we're listener supported now that we're part of Escape Artist Chile, and so really hoping to have folks go to Escape America Now and check out the membership tab there so you can get involved with the webinar. And our webinar is going to be just the last Saturday of the month here, just a day after the show airs. And so hope people will be able to be signed up and participating in that as well. Of course, we have our usual slang words and other cute events that we always take care of on the show. So at any rate, the website is www.escapeamericanow.info. Be sure to check out that website and see what the products and services we're offering, including my new book. And we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Viva Chile, a Chile quiero, chileno soy.
All right, here we are back again on Red Hot Chile. Glad you joined us once again. Dr. John Coben here. The email address, in case you have any questions or comments, can be either chileadvisorygroup@gmail.com or Dr. Coben at redhotchilelive.com or questions at redhotchilelive.com. Hope you can get some good ones into us. We have some good questions that came in this week, but they were specifically for the webinar. Remember, the webinar will be on the 27th of September. If you want to participate in the webinar, it's a benefit available only to members. So if you go to escapeamericanow.info, you'll see a tab there that says Escape America Now membership. And if you join, currently for the discounted price of $99 per year, you'll not only receive free books and other benefits that are listed there, but you'll also be able to attend the webinar. And the webinar give a lot of actionable, important information for newcomers, immigrants, people that are serious about being here. And it's always a good group that shows up and has a lot of interesting questions, of course, and they're very interested because they're about to make a very big choice in their life and coming to Chile, most of them, and they want to get all the information they can. It's a good resource. So hope that those who are listening live on Friday will take the time to get their membership taken care of, so they can participate on Saturday at noon when we have the webinar and be able to hear the answers I give to some of those questions. We are now a listener-supported effort, and although we're going to have some advertising and so forth that'll help along the way, we are relying heavily on membership now, where we hadn't been in the last couple of years, basically. So hope you'll support the show and be able to receive the great information that comes through here so that you can prepare yourself for your next move. And boy, the expense of moving down is greatly reduced. It's kind of a function of how much information, if I can use a mathematical term, it's a function of how much information you have. The more information you have before you get here, the less costly it's going to be, most likely, to live. Get your decent residency done, getting your, the things you need in life, like your container down here, getting an apartment rented at a good price, not a gringo price, things like that. So check out Escape America Now and .info, and you'll find out all about those benefits. Now, there's also a premium membership that you should know about, and the premium membership is an expensive one-time cost in the sense it's $999.99, but it's a lifetime membership. So that's one thing. You don't pay again like everyone else. Is just an annual membership, and you have access to the premium section of the forums. You have additional resources, including ebooks on libertarianism, tax structures, asset protection, expatriation, etc. You get all 4 of my books on Chile, and I just have a new book that came out about living in Chile, which is the third book in the sequence that fills out the travel log section pretty much, and really gives a lot of detailed information about politics, history, culture, for people that are really serious about living here in the country. It's a must-read for anybody who's going to be here on a permanent basis or looking to immigrate here, even if people are already living here. Now, the entire fee can be applied to my residency services. The residency program, which of course is very popular and many people participate in, to get their temporary residency and their permanent residency is $3,000. Actually, it's $29.95 as a base price. There's additional costs for if you need an address, if you have dependents, elderly people or children that are with you. And there are additional costs for small items here and there, but that's the base price. And the full $999.99 is applied towards that. So you become a member, and then you end up getting a discount. So that alone is worth a fair amount. Later on in the show, our well-beloved producer here, Joe Johnson, is back in Chile, and he's producing today's show. And he just got through going through getting his visa done, and we're going to talk to him later on in the second hour, so you can get an idea of how our staff handles it. Now you may say, well, he's a biased participant. Well, maybe, but he can tell you how the process works. Our folks really get through very quickly now. We certainly have it wired and know how to get you all the way through for those two kinds of visas. You also, with the premium membership, get 2 hours of consulting with me, which normally is $1,000 to do, and additional resources as they become available will also be provided to you. So, as long as supplies last, we still have a few copies left of my 2 books on public policy. One is called Bible and Government, and the other one is called Christian Theology of Public Policy. You may say, well, I'm not a Christian, I don't care about those things, but you certainly know some Christians who are statist, especially in the United States, and you could give them to them. So even if you're not going to use them yourself, there's certainly a bonus that you could give away. And there's also another book that's going to be given out as a bonus. It's the classic investing book called 100 to 1 in the Stock Market by Thomas Phelps. So becoming a premium member, you also get that book. So there's lots of bonuses here, as you can tell, for signing up for Escape America Now premium membership at the current time. So we hope you'll take advantage of those opportunities. All right, let's jump right into some slang words here while I'm thinking about it. Every week we go through different slang words. Well, I'm on the H's still in this book of the corrupt Chilean tongue. It's emphasizing a lot of these words that people are using to describe corruption. One is hacer la guagua. Hacer la guagua. Now these are all, hacer again is the verb to make or to do in Spanish. La guagua in Chile means the baby. People can get confused from Cuba or Dominican Republic or these places where that's actually a bus. I think the guagua is called a bus. Here in Chile, the bus, the little town buses are called la micro, like micro máquina, the small machine. In Peru, it's called el micro. So go figure. But here in Chile, it's la micro, and the guagua is a baby. So if you say hacer la guagua, to make the baby, what does that mean? Well, in spite of what it might sound directly like in English, it actually means you're going to make yourself like a baby, because babies ride for free on the bus, and if they're not actually real babies, under they're 6 years old or 5, they usually ride for free still. And so the idea of hacer la guagua is that you get in for free. You're gonna, whether it's the bus or anything else, you're not paying, or you're paying certainly less than what you would normally pay. That's hacer la guagua. Guagua is spelled G-U-A, by the way. We think it might be, the word might have come from the indigenous people here, or it could be because babies say wah, wah. Could be, I don't know, I'm not sure. And nobody else seems to know around here either. That's the 2 theories we hear. Hacer perro muerto, that's to make a dead dog. And I should be pronouncing that double R, hacer perro muerto. But since I don't pronounce double R's very well, you have to understand that's the way it is. Well, what that means is you're gonna you take any sort of action to abandon your responsibility to pay, specifically at restaurants. So you're supposed to pay up the bill and you just take off like a dead dog. Now it's kind of ironic because a dead dog usually doesn't run very fast, but it should be a living dog. But for whatever reason, it's called a dead dog. So you're not paying your bill. And lastly, we have a word, a phrase called "Hay varios pájaros colgando en la misma rama." There's various birds hanging on the same branch. There are various birds hanging on the same branch. Hay varios pájaros colgando de la misma rama. What that basically means is there's some corruption or some kind of payoff going on, and there are several people who are going to benefit, either indirectly or directly, and so they're all in the same branch and they're getting something out of it too. All right, there's your slang words for the week. Hope you enjoy those things. It's a funny book, this one. You can find it online. In fact, it's on the website, escapeamericanow.info. Just search for corruption, and you should be able to find the blog entry that lists this book with the link, and you can see it yourself online for free. It's written all in Spanish, so if you want to listen to the English translations, you'll have to listen to Red Hot Chile, where you'll be able to hear them slowly but surely as we get through. We started in A and we're down in the H's, so we're getting close to halfway through the book, at any rate, I think. All right. Well, anyway, let's move on to a couple of current events themes here in Chile. One is right before the show started, there was a little earthquake, and it's common in Chile. We have these things, and they call them temblores. A temblor is just a shaking thing up to, say, 7.5. Once you get to 7.5 on the Richter scale, it's a pretty powerful quake, and it's called a terremoto. Terremotos are very, very dangerous because obviously they're quite strong. And when Chileans see the California quake at 6.0, they think, wow, that all these buildings fell down, all these injured people, 172 injured or whatever. I think I've commented this on the show before. Look, how can that be that we have these kinds of quakes all the time in Chile and we don't have that kind of damage? Well, the answer is Chileans build their buildings far better than Americans build their buildings, even in places like California. Now, you could understand if they were living in North Dakota or someplace that don't have earthquakes, Texas or maybe Georgia, if those don't have them very often, then you get away with it. It's kind of like you go to Nigeria or India where there's sections where they don't have earthquakes. They build with blocks, without any reinforcement in and things like that, because it's just not a problem. And if there's no hurricanes and no tornadoes, then even less of a concern for having really strong structures. Well, here in Chile, it's not that way. Things are built very, very strongly here, and that's precisely why things don't get so damaged when we have smaller quakes. And just on the 24th of September, there was a 6.3 quake just to the west of Socaire. Socaire is a little indigenous town way up there in the Andes Desert, so it's actually got some green around it, so high up. And it'd be just southeast, sort of, I guess, southeast perhaps of Calama, which is, in my book, still the ugliest city in Chile. It's a mining town and a pretty good sized town also, along with some parts of Antofagasta, which are pathetic, and Osorno and Talcahuano. Those make up my 4 favorite ugly cities. When I say favorite, because I think they're the ugliest thing and I wouldn't even want to go back, although I tend to go back to all these places for whatever reason. But that was a 6.3 quake up there, and no damage, nothing significant reported, certainly no loss of life or injury on account of it. Just another day in the life, basically, when it comes to Chile, to have these relatively small earthquakes that are big deals in other places in the world and not such a big deal here. All right, we also have some news from Santiago. The wait time for the Trans-Santiago bus and metro system is now increased 52%. Folks, if you want to participate in sardine land or the escapades of the sardines or something like that, just go to the Santiago Metro during rush hour. You have lines just to people to get pack into these metro cars. It's truly amazing, and sometimes you have to wait forever to catch a bus. The demand on the public transportation system is quite high. Now, the public transportation system in Chile actually works pretty well, but your best bet is to use it outside of rush hour. If you're going to do errands downtown or you're going to be in Santiago, it's best not to do it during the rush hour period, or you'll find out when I'm talking about the sardine experience. In the region, it's not so bad. Here in Viña, yeah, it gets crowded during rush hour, but the buses are small. The metro is, it's not the same kind of situation, so you can have a more relaxing trip, but still can take a long time, especially during rush hour. It's best to do things not in rush hour unless you absolutely have to go out and you're going to use public transportation. So the wait time's up 52% in Santiago. People are complaining about it and want more capacity. The government's going to open 2 more metro lines shortly. They've been working on it for some time. So when I say shortly, the next year or two, we should have at least 1 or 2 more lines in Santiago, and more cars, therefore, and be able to handle more capacity of people going certain places in Santiago. It doesn't cover the whole city, but it sure covers a lot, especially after these new lines are going to be opened up. All right, we also have a string of robberies that have happened ever since, I guess it was Tuesday. The first one was the government's Dirección de Crédito y Prendario. I can't even read my own writing. Prendario. Basically, it's a loan service. It's fondly known as the rich aunt, or Tia Rica. This was on Monday, actually, at 1.234. Sorry, that's not 1 point. You know, in Spanish, the decimal point is, means a comma in English. So, when I'm talking in English and reading in Spanish, it doesn't work real well for me. Anyway, it's 1,234 million. So that means in English 1,234,000,000 pesos, and that works out to pretty close to $2.3 million that were stolen out of this place. And there were jewelry pieces, I guess apparently gold, as well as gold coins, as well as cash that were taken. So big robbery there. Also had a jewelry store robbery at Alto Las Condes yesterday, this was actually Wednesday, for 100 million pesos. So that's almost $200,000. That's a ritzy mall. And then we had an armed robbery at the bank in Las Condes on Thursday for just 20 million pesos, or $40,000. So they actually stole the guard's gun too. They mentioned that in the article. Anyway, lots of robberies. Nothing new for Chile. Believe me, there's lots of stuff that goes on with theft here. But you're listening to Red Hot Chili on the Overseas Radio Network and Escape Artist Chili Portal.